Hi, this is Ricky Sun. I'm a Pi consultant. In this video, I want to talk about some important things you need to know about Pi interface failover configurations. In most of the Pi interface, like failover, you need to configure phase 2 failover. Like just recently, I was configuring the interface failover again, and then I saw cold, warm, and hot failover, and I realized I didn't know what are the difference so that I can recommend it to my customer. When I look at it, it's like, okay, if I have hots available, then of course hot is better than warm, warm is better than cold, and that's what I did. Like I just do the top one. When I realized I don't know what's their difference, look at the manual. Like this is the manual I look at to see what's their difference. I have to go back to the manual because I never read this manual with the impression that hot is better than warm and all that. What's cold? Cold is like when you have failover configured. This is primary, this is backup. Then the backup as a cold pair, when the primary is down, take over the ownership, load the points, and then collect the data. If you have a big instance, like a lot of tags in the instance, then loading the point will take some time, and then that's the data gap you have to have for loading all the point and then start collecting data. So that's a cold failover, which is not so nice. If you have a big data gap, people will scream at you. And then how about the warm failover? Warm is better than cold because warm, when you have this configured, warm backup will load the point first. So when your primary is gone, this backup become a primary, and then it is ready to go. You can skip the loading point part, and then there will be less data gap and then less data loss, but there will be data loss for the warm failover as well. And talk about the hot one. Hot failover pair would be both instances are collecting the data from the same data source. So you are doubling the workload for your data source. For example, it could be an OPC DA or HDA. Then if it is a hot failover configuration, both instances are collecting data with the point loaded. So when your primary is down, it's good enough to have no data loss. That's what the manual said, no data loss. So if you do hots, which is better than cold and warm, no data loss. But as you can hear, double the workload can kind of concern. You don't want to double the workload sometimes, or you can only one at a time connection. So this is not an option for you. Maybe talking about interface, if you look at my screen, this Pi to Pi, if I go to failover, it has only warm type to select. So Pi to Pi only have warm failover. It cannot have cold, it cannot have hot. But if I look at the Perf one have hots only. So it depends on which interface you select, and OPC DA, HDA, Pi interface have cold and warm. I'm not so sure it has hot, but we'll need to dig in to test it. If you compare hot and cold, cold doesn't have too much workload, but it has data loss. Hot have a lot of workload, but no data loss. Whatever you want to select, times you just have to go for whatever is available, but maybe your OPC servers or your data source does not allow you to have double the data collection. Then you have to select cold. And if it allows, then you of course select hot. So this very depends on your situations, but I like to point out this is what I learned this week and share with you about this cold, warm, and hot difference. I was just configuring them when my customer say, hey, configure failover pair, but I never thought there's any difference other than like the hot is better than cold. Other thing that is important for failover configuration, it is the synchronization file path. These paths should be and must be in a separate server that is not on your primary and the backup. Because I want to point out that because sometimes my client would suggest to me, I want to put my share, the synchronization file share in primary or the backup, but it doesn't work that way. If you want the failover to function function properly, you need a third location for the synchronization file to be saved there, so that both primary and secondary can look up to that share files. Then the UFO2 tags that I want to point out at the screen here, you can create some UFO2 tags, then they will function properly. Otherwise, if your path is on the primary and when it is down, then the secondary could not even see the synchronization file. Then it will behave funny and you lose the point of configure the failover pair for this interface to have your desire for the failover, and it might behave just like a call, or who knows, right? It doesn't function correctly. Why are you going to do that? I recommend you put in a third location, not on the same server. That's all I want to share. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe as well as hitting the bell icon. I'll see you next week. Bye.